Hey, good morning. It's Dr. James. I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. And I got to admit right up front, I've been trying to figure out how do I say what I want to say to you this morning with an utmost level of love and respect. And at the same time, I want to encourage you with all my heart to really lean into this message. This is all about our minds and about how it is that we can be courageous in our thinking and our doing. Because there is no question our world needs creative, courageous thinkers. People who don't just think outside of the box, they actually can't even see the box. And as you kind of dig into what's happening a lot, the more stress that we have in our life, the more that we're spending time in judgment or separating ourselves from one another, our brain literally suffers. Under the influence of that kind of stress, under the influence of that sadness and that anger and that hostility, our brains literally shrink. And you know what? We've got a really, really big election coming up later this fall. And we had a lot of work to do right now in relationship to healing and creating connection and growing and being a community, getting out of our own way, seeing one another, learning how to love again, like our lives depend on it. Okay? So I'm going to bring us back to a very deep level of science around something called neurogenesis, and in particular, a way that we can grow a bigger brain. But at the same time that we're growing a bigger brain, we're thinking differently. We're thinking bigger. We're really, really giving our mind an opportunity to be magnificent, genius, in fact. So I'm talking about a particular protein today, and this protein is called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You may have seen it before or read about it. It's often called just BDNF, and it's basically like a fertilizer for neurons and neurogenesis, helping to build pathways in our brain, brand new pathways. Which, you know, here in my 50s, I'm all about looking at any sort of pathways through neuroplasticity, old thinking, stinking thinking, old stuff and beliefs that no longer serve me. And I think you look around our country, you look around the world, and you say, wow, we need to get out of some of our old ways of thinking and doing and really create a brand new way of thinking and doing. And BDNF, when we build it, we can't help but be kinder and more magnificent and creative and artistic and loving and genius in the way we go about building humanity. So here's how we do it. This is such a cool thing because BDNF will grow no matter how old you are. So me in my 50s, you in your whatever, it doesn't matter. You can grow it. And if you're like me and you're thinking about, gosh, 20, 30, 40 years from now, spirit willing, my mind, I want to be sharp. I want to be a beneficial presence on the planet. I don't want to be taking up space. I want to be living with grace. I don't want to take up space. I want to be living with grace. So how do we do that? Well, here's what's interesting. This protein, this fertilizer for your brain, it's so me. When you move, here's what happens. There was a study that was done with just people who walk 20 minutes a day briskly. For 24 weeks, there is this is me being dyslexic, an 1,800% increase in the activity of BDNF. 1,800% just in 24 weeks of 20 minutes of walking briskly. That is absolutely amazing. Just a 20-minute walk after dinner. You're out there just getting a brisk walk and you're going, I'm becoming more brilliant. I'm becoming more genius. I'm becoming more awake. I'm more alive. I'm more. No more. And then calories, nutrient density diet. So a Mediterranean-based diet. In fact, and if you actually use things like curcumin and turmeric and you get good essential fats from nuts and wild fish, you also will see an increase in your BDNF. But don't be over-caloring. Make sure every calorie has a reason for being, nutrient density. And on top of that, this is beautiful, anything that stimulates you to be more creative in how you address anything in your life that you know has work to do. And I think the greatest work of our life is figuring out how do we love ourselves more? How do we love others more? What kind of intellectual, inspirational, spiritual expression can we work on in stimulation? Because when we do that, our brain gets bigger. Our heart gets bigger. Our spirit becomes bigger. This is awesome. Big Brain You. We can attend that class every single day. And what's most fascinating about this is that we have an opportunity to outthink our former selves. And when we outthink our former selves, I think we begin to feel what's possible for ourselves. And when we do that, we start thinking bigger than ourselves. So here's to BDNF. Here's to fertilizing our genius. Here's to creating a life that we love. So with that, much love, every blessing. I appreciate you. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.